in the National Commission on Culture and Art, so that hopefully we will be moving on the same direction. It should not be the different agencies of government tasked to preserve our cultural sites which are quarreling with each other as to what we are going to do to improve and preserve the same. Hence, we are going to advocate and ask the City Council later on the passage of our ordinance for the preservation of our arts and culture with the experience we had with the National Historical Commission and the National Commission, Culture Commission and Art, so that, as we said, we will be moving in one direction to preserve what you have identified, like the post office in other areas that are cultural heritage in our city of Baguio. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And I think Attorney Molintas would like to react to that. Sir, you have 1 minute.
Sir, kindly enlighten us why is the post office now converted into a commercial center like Baden-Powell 2? It has been commercialized. In front, there's no more beauty. We cannot distinguish Baden-Powell from any other kinds of business along that area. And when you also go to the what we call BBAC area, what is the plan for that? Because there is a rumor that it's going to be given to one of the mall operators in the city of Baguio. Please give us some enlightenment, sir.
Mayor Dumogan, you have 1 minute to respond.
Well, unfortunately, the post office area is the property of the national government. While we have the control in the issuance of business permit, we do not have a control of how to utilize this property. Second, if you had heard the problems of the post office now, they lack funds to even pay their employees working in the post office. Hence, they are being allowed to utilize a portion of their property to generate some funds in order to support their own programs that they need to do as post office in our own area. So that is the one. On the second part of the question, unfortunately, I do not have any personal knowledge of that alleged transaction, making that area, giving it to somebody else. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And I think there's a reaction also from Judge Del Corabal. Sir, you have 1 minute.
Yes, even if the post office is not within our jurisdiction, the post office already part of our heritage. We should have asked the post office to consider this situation that we are in, that is a part of our culture. And therefore, we have to rally the people and ask the post office to consider it as a heritage site so that it will no longer be within the jurisdiction of any office. So we would strongly suggest, when we will be mayor, that we will call for the post office to be a heritage site, and that we will gather all the people that we can in order to rally for the approval of this measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And of course, the final word, Mayor, your comment also to the question or reaction of Judge Corabal.
Well, that is easier said than done. Because, look, as we said, it must be the job of the National Historical Commission, the National Commission on Culture and Arts. It's true, the city government possibly can suggest, but if they are not going to follow, then we do not have the authority to compel them. We did. I've been asking them to please follow what we should do in order to preserve this area as a heritage site in our city of Baguio. But this is what is happening in this. That is the reason why I said I go back to my own statement that we have to pass the necessary ordinance that will bind, I should say, everybody in our city of Baguio, that will govern a situation of this nature so that we have the legal basis to enforce the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Incumbent Mayor Mauricio De Morgan. We now go to the question of Attorney Jose Molintas. Sir? I will read your question twice, sir. The city market remains an eyesore. Even zoning in the market is no longer implemented. What is your position to make our market better than its current state? The city market remains an eyesore. Even zoning in the market is no longer implemented. What is your position to make our market better than its current state? You have 2 minutes, sir.
I agree with that observation, and the first thing we should do is cancel the contract. While there is a contract, you cannot touch the city market because Uniwide technically has already its title over the city market. But if we cancel that, we can now infuse some development at the city market. The first thing we will do is we will wash the city market every night, including Session Road and all the roads, so that all the water flowing towards a slaughterhouse will not be that dirty, and Session Road and the market will not be stinky. As we collect all the waters that go towards a slaughterhouse, we should collect it and filter it, recycle the water, so that we will have water cleaning that every day. You know, it has been the source of meningococcemia in 2005 when we were a councilor, and at least the administration then used to clean the city market every 4 o'clock in the morning, and that has been not continued by the present administration. That's why if you like to check, you go and stand in front of Maharlika, you stand along where the canals are, you will smell how developed it is and how neglected it was. So I think that should be the first thing we will do, and then if the contract is already cancelled, we can now improve to make it as a historical site, a heritage site. Do not destroy its old beauty. We enhance it, not change it entirely, and allow a corporation that intends to make it as a super mall. They say that whenever there is a campaign by the national presidential candidates, they come to the city market. They don't go to SM. Why? It means it is a very significant area, and therefore it is worth preserving and enhancing. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Molintas. Any candidate can react to that. Judge Claraval, would you like to have a reaction to that? You have 1 minute.
Yes, I agree that we must really clean the market. Masyado namang mabaho eh. Nung pupunta ho tayo doon sa palengke, when we went around, it really stinks. Na hindi gaya ho noon na talagang maganda, malinis at hindi mabaho. So if I were the mayor, I am going to have that cleaned every day or twice a week. Or even maghanap tayo ng deodorizer dyan para maalis yung mga baho dyan sa mga kanal eh. Ang baho-baho na ho, nakakahiya. Thank you po.
Thank you. Attorney Molintas, you have 1 minute to respond, and then Mayor will also respond. Attorney Molintas, you have 1 minute.
Well, I think a deodorizer will not solve the problem. You will just smoke screen. The fact is, when we go around, we do not think there is somebody administering the city market. What used to be a plain midsection remains to be a neglected, stinky, wet area. And when you go around, you do not expect that there's another midsection along the other areas where they are adjoining other non-meat or fish sections. So we do not see any rule being followed. I think there's a need to really improve the entire city market. I wonder if our mayor ever went towards the city market visiting what's happening there. Because I think if he goes there, I'm sure he will do something drastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Dumagan, you have 1 minute.
First, it is not true that the market is now titled in the name of Uniwide. The truth is, there is a contract between the city and Uniwide. And the city government still owns the public market. Second, we are doing a lot. We have improved a lot. Look at those vendors in the sidewalk. We removed them and relocated them at the parking area of Block 4. Third, that's why we have an ongoing renovation of the Reliera building in order that the drainage there will be fixed. We have 20 million budget for that purpose to improve that area. Fourth, we need also to discipline especially those selling in trails and fish products in the market not to dispose their garbage through the drainage, because that's the one contributing stinky smell in that area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Attorney Malintas, you have another minute to wrap up.
I wonder how many times does the mayor pass by the market, because if he were to visit the market, it's really topsy-turvy. You cannot imagine how difficult it is for the people to go around the area. And at a certain point, at Block 3 and 4, they were able to change it. I do not know where they got the funding, because technically the auditor will not allow you to infuse investment in a market where there is an existing contract with another corporation. That is, I think, the reason why over the past 18 to 20 years, it cannot be developed. Because if we really can develop it at this point, then they should have done lots of development. What happened was, there was a case, there is no injunction for Uniwide to go in. It did not go there. But the city also did not do anything to develop or enhance the city market. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We now proceed to the question for Judge Del Claraval.
Well, talagang...
Sir, bubunod po kayo ng question.
Sorry. Kala ko.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am Helen, your question, sir, will be read twice.
Your question is, the city has been plagued by spurious ancestral land claims, left and right, to the extent that even our parks and watersheds are being claimed. How do you think we can solve this? Again, your question is, the city has been plagued by spurious ancestral land claims, left and right, to the extent that even our parks and watersheds are being claimed. How do you think we can solve this?
Well, kailangang tignan natin kung bakit nagiging spurious, no? Kasi kung spurious talaga, then we have to really investigate. Kasi if you say spurious, then it's not legal. So, and they are really going to our watersheds and our parks. And that is really anomalous. So we have to investigate and look into the reasons or their claims if it's really legitimate or not, no? Kasi sa atin naman, we have the due process that we have to follow. Yun ang isang, that's one of the shortfalls of democracy. That the government cannot just remove all these people in the parks or in the watersheds because we have to go through the legal process. Yan ho yung isang shortfall ng democracy natin but we have to follow it. Now, I introduced before a resolution in 1993 that the DENR should, together with the Baguio Water District, should look into what are the possible watersheds in the city of Baguio so that yung mga possible watersheds na hindi pa natatap should already be cordoned off para sa ganoon may matitira pang mga watersheds dito. As to the parks, there is no compromise there. Parks are beyond the commerce of man. And therefore, yung mga nandyan ho sa parks na they are already claiming that it is their ancestral land, they should be really properly investigated. Investigation is the solution to these spurious claims.
Thank you, sir. Any reaction from the two other candidates? Mayor, would you like to react to that? Attorney Malintas, any reaction? Sir, would you like to react? You have 1 minute, sir.
Yes, as I said, it's better to be preventing than curing. When the law was passed in 1997, the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act, one good leader would have seen the effect of that law. In fairness to other claimants, they are not all spurious. But because of so many entrepreneuring people, speculative people, this had gone to more on the issues of spurious titles. You can even identify who was the commissioner at the time when there are so many spurious titles, overnight titles. But the city, I think it's sad to note, I would not say it has leapt over it. Maybe they were not simply, they did not think it will bother them until it started taking effect. For many of our farm lots are being claimed already by people who are funded, including from the national level. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Would you like to react to that statement by Attorney Malintas, Judge?
Yes, vigilance should be the order of the day with respect to these watersheds and parks being intruded upon by alleged claims. Kasi kung meron sana tayong maraming mga forest ranger o yung mga nagbabantay sa parks natin, siguro we can at least minimize this. Kasi yun ang problema natin, marami tayong batas naman dyan. Marami naman tayong nakikitang pumapasok dyan sa mga watersheds. Pero kung isa-isa lang yung pumapasok yan, hindi ho napapansin eh. But once we have these protectors, mga magbabantay sa ating mga forests, watersheds, and parks, then perhaps we can minimize that. Sabi nga, preventive.
Incumbent Mayor Demogan would like to react to that, sir. You have 1 minute.
I am supportive for the titling of legitimate ancestral land claims. With respect to the question, yes, there have been series of investigations conducted over cultists that had been issued covering parks, road right-of-ways in watersheds. And for the information of the people of Baguio, no less than the National Commission on Indigenous People came out with its finding that indeed these are irregular. And we have been coordinating with the Office of the Solicitor General's Office for the cancellation or nullification of these titles. Hence, to you, our beloved people of Baguio, if you will give me my last term, all that we have to do is we will continue already pursuing the legal action to have these spurious titles be nullified. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And the final word on this matter will be given, of course, by Judge Del Carnaval. You have 1 minute for the final word on this issue, sir.
Well, as I said, we should have been more vigilant in protecting these parks and watersheds and not just let them go in. Kaya nga ho, kailangan pa rin natin yung mga vigilantes dyan na nagbabantay sa mga watersheds natin and our parks para sa ganoon maproprotektahan naman natin dyan. Kawawa na nga ho tayo pati yung mga watersheds natin, pinapasukan. Yung mga bundok natin, they cut the trees and plant condominiums. Nauubusan na ho tayo ng tubig.
Thank you very much, Judge Del Carnaval. Nakatigisang katanungan na po ng sinagot ng ating mga kandidato for City Mayor. Palakpakan po natin sila. More questions will be picked out by our candidates from our fishbowl, but we are going to give them 5 minutes break. I know that some of you would like to visit the restroom, probably our candidates and our audience, so we're giving you 5 minutes break. You can have coffee and tea to our candidates sa inyo pong holding area. We'll be right back with more of the Baguio Leaders Forum after 5 minutes. Maraming salamat po. 2 minutes. So we'd like to request our audience to please settle down. Those who are having their snack, I think we have cocktail tables right over there. And we have a pay-as-you-go bar that have pastries available and some drinks. So we're being aired live over Sky Cable. And as I heard through text message ng ating mga kasamahan sa media, marami daw po ang nanonood ngayon dyan sa may Abanao Square, lalong-lalo na po dyan sa may People's Park. So, bagamat tayo po ay maraming audience dito sa may Baguio Country Club, marami din po sa ating mga kababayan ang nakakarinig at nakakapanood ng ating Baguio Leaders Forum doon po sa dalawang malalaking venues natin, yung pong Abanao Square widescreen at dyan po sa may People's Park. In fact, yun daw po mga namamalengke ngayong hapon ay humihinto at nakikinig sa mga kasagutan ng ating mga kandidato sa pagka-mayor dito po sa siyudad ng Baguio. And yung po mga naka-standby doon sa may overpass, pinaalis po sila ng pulis kasi bawal pong manood at tumayo doon. Kaya pinapalipat po sila doon sa may balcony side noong Marday. At nang sa ganun, doon na lang po sila makapanood. Dahil binabarahan na raw po nila yung overpass. Hindi raw makadaan yung tao dahil nag-enjoy sila sa panonood natin ng ating forum ngayon. So I think we are ready. And we're back, of course, with the Baguio Leaders Forum 2016 with the theme, Nasa Kamay Mo Ang Tunay na Pagbabago. Isa-serve lang po namin yung tea ni Mayor at ni Judge. We'll be serving your tea in a while. So while waiting, we now proceed with the second round of questions for our candidates. At ang bubunot po ng katanungan ay si Mayor Dumogan. And Ma'am Helen, tayo po ay natutuwa sa ating audience dahil sila po ay nakikikooperate, they maintain silence pagka sumasagot po ang ating mga kandidato. Ito na po ang pangalawang katanungan para kay incumbent Mayor Mauricio Dumogan. Mayor, what are your plans for the senior citizens of Baguio City? What are your plans for the senior citizens of Baguio City?
Well, we will continue to render our social services for our senior citizens. One, we are improving the senior citizens building near Mabini. We are going to complete on that. Second, other senior citizens building in other areas of our city that we have the space where we can construct them. Third, I was the principal sponsor of the amended senior citizens law na nagbibigay ng 20% discount to senior citizens sa restaurants, sa drugstores, transportation, movie houses. We'll continue to monitor the implementation of the amended senior citizens law so that our senior citizens will continue to benefit from them. Number 5, we'll continue to utilize the senior citizens as board of advisors to our children, their grandchildren, so that we are going to inculcate in them the correct values in character development, which are the foundations of good future. Because there are no other group of people who can act as advisors for our young people if not our senior citizens. 6, we'll continue to sustain the different activities for our senior citizens. That's why we have the federations of Baguio, senior citizens in the city of Baguio, aside from the different branches in the barangays, and we will continue to enhance these programs for you, our beloved senior citizens, Baru ken Balasang Idikalman. Thank you.
Would you like to react? add on what Mayor Dumogan said? Attorney Jomol Molintas.
So you said that you were the ones who authored the senior citizens discount. I also know that you were the congressman when the VAT and EVAT was being discussed. You were giving a discount of 20%, but you were also taking back 12%. The senior citizens no longer work, and yet they are being taxed 12%. The senior citizens also in Baguio City are being charged the use of the privatized toilet in the city of Baguio. Why can't we not give a discount to those, or why don't we remove or exempt them from the collection of the use of the CR, including the minor children? Why all business and no more discount to them? I remember that during our time, the public toilet was free for everybody. Thank you.
Incumbent Mayor, you have 1 minute to respond.
Well, with respect to EBAP, that's why that's even considered even in the discount that are being given to senior citizens. With respect to our comfort rooms, I think, before that no one is watching our comfort rooms, every now and then it's being destroyed. That's why we were forced to come out with a measure, and unfortunately, the city government cannot afford anymore to hire additional personnel to maintain them because of the 45% ceiling limit. That's why it was bidded out to a private corporation. Now, we want to give them to the senior citizens, but look, under the Procurement Act, that cannot be done because unless they are organized as a corporation, qualified under Republic Act 9184, there's no way that they can be given the seat operation of the seat comfort rooms. That's the reality and the truth. Thank you.
Judge Caraval, your take on the issue? You have 1 minute.
Well, baka yung mga sasabihin ko ngayon self-serving dahil senior citizen na rin ho ako. At I was given the award of Gintong Pala, Outstanding Senior Citizen of Baguio. Pero sasabihin ko lang po na siguro it's about time that we should consider a hospital for the senior citizens para hindi na ho sila nahihirapan dito sa pagpunta-punta sa mga hospital at pagbibili ng kanilang mga medisina. We should find a way also kung paano yung mga senior citizens na may Alzheimer na nga, kaya nakakalimutan yung booklet nila, pero yung mga drugstores hindi nakakaintindi sa urgency ng pagbili nila ng medisina. Perhaps if we could do away na yung mga booklet nila dyan. Thank you po.
Mayor Dumogan, your final word on the issue. You have 1 minute.
Yes, why not? It's so good if we have a separate hospital for senior citizens, but that is easier said than done. That's the truth. So what we should do is improve the system of the discount and how they are being treated in our existing hospital. It's not a joke to operate a hospital. I am a member of the Board of Justice of St. Louis Sacred Heart Hospital. The hospital is actually losing every year. So we have to enhance maybe the operation of the Baguio General Hospital in order that the service to our senior citizens will be given to them in a nice way and a proper way for them to realize also our respect for them as our senior citizens. So that is what we should do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Helen. At yan po ang issue tungkol sa ating mga senior citizens. At ang susunod po, nabubunot mula sa ating fishbowl ng mga questions ay si Attorney Jose Molintas.
Sir, your question is, how will you support an alternative and sustainable urban transport improvement projects such as pedestrianization, walkable sidewalk, cable system, among others? Again, the question is, How will you support an alternative and sustainable urban transport improvement projects such as pedestrianization, walkable sidewalk, cable system, among others?
Sir, you have 2 minutes.
Well, that is indeed a very difficult thing to do, especially if you want to do all of that. You cannot have a mass transit in the center and hoping that everybody will walk. We need to decide once and for all. If we want pedestrianization, where everybody should walk at the center, then we should all be ready. I was asked the same question by the students, and I said, suppose we will do that pedestrianization. Will you, students of the University of Baguio, will not complain? So we need to continue dialogue among all stakeholders, not only in these kinds of development issue, like whether we want a mall to rise up in this area, or whether we want this to happen. That should be an essence of democracy, that the city of government should not be the ones deciding only by themselves. We want to provide you all of that, but as I said, we need to study things first. So one will be advantageous to the others will complain also, like the business people. They think that if we avoid allowing motor vehicles to go to the center to avoid pollution, they will be the ones who will complain that their business will be affected. So we really need to have something quite different. My idea is, why not build a new city? Build a new city, central business district in other areas of Baguio City, like in Luacan area. Instead of competing with this center, trying to put in everything in the center, why don't we start building mini city districts in other districts in the city of Baguio? That for me is, I think, worth and more practical way to approach all these problems. Like other schools, they're already transferring some of their schools in some other areas. So that is our problem, and that should be our solution. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any reaction from both candidates? Judge Claraval, would you like to give your thoughts on that issue?
Well, sa atin ho, no, we must always look forward. No, if it is not doable now, then we must plan it for maybe consider it as a medium term or a long term plan. Dahil nga ho talagang malala na yung traffic natin eh. Kaya ang kailangan gawin natin dyan is to maybe start from the beginning na gumawa tayo ng assessment kung gaano karami ang mga volume ng traffic natin, gaano karami yung jeep, gaano karami yung taxi natin, gaano karami yung gumagamit ng taxi, gaano karami yung gumagamit ng mga jeepney. Kasi nakikita ho natin, marami hong nakalinya sa jeepney stations eh. Pero tutuisin mo, sasabihin mo, ba't nakalinya sila? Pero sasabihin naman natin, masyado nang maraming jeep at taxi. So we must have to make an inventory para doon ho tayo mag-uumpisa.
Thank you, sir. Attorney Mulintas, you have 1 minute.
Well, we agree with that, and that's why we have to use the development program called the BLIST program. That is to find a way to have a long-term solution towards these issues. That's why it's my and yours advantage that if it were an Ibaloy like me, to talk with our neighboring towns to convince them to allow opening their areas for development so that some schools should be transferred, low-cost housing should be done outside of Baguio City, that we will be able to decongest the central business district. That's the only time that we can think about what to do at the central business district. If finally we all decide to pedestrianize the whole area and only allow vehicles to go towards the hospital, I think we will be able to do a lot as a community within the BLIST area.
Thank you, sir. Incumbent Mayor Dumogan.
Well, we have to continue improving our barangay roads in alternate roads. Second, we have to really construct the parking buildings at the Gansa restaurant in other areas in the central business district area. so that we have alternate routes for motorists to utilize. And also, third, we have to support the BLIS development as the long-term development for our city to decongest the center of our city. From the moment that these are in place, then we will consider really thinking of making Session Road as a pedestrian walking mall and improve it as such so that it will be very good for all our people of Baguio. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And your final thoughts on the matter, Attorney Molintas?
That should have been done even before. The BLIS development program was envisioned as early as 2000, immediately after the earthquake in 1990. And that we have not seen, we have only talked about it during a campaign period, and after that we haven't seen positive steps forward towards really decongesting the central business district. What we are seeing now are plans to put up more structures in the city district. That's why we believe that we should pause for a while and stop these kinds of development until we have decided what we really want to do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. We now go to the question for Judge Del Claraval. Sir, your question? While a gaming facility or a casino has permits and is considered legal, it also generates employment and revenue for the city. Are you in favor of having a gaming facility operate in the city, considering that most people who go and play in La Union are from Baguio, and that illegal gambling like hueteng continue to proliferate in the city? Again, while a gaming facility or a casino has permits and is considered legal, it also generates employment and revenue. Are you in favor of having a gaming facility operate in the city, considering that most people who go and play in La Union are from Baguio, and that illegal gambling like hueteng continue to proliferate in the city? You have 2 minutes, sir.
Well, gambling is out of the question in Baguio City. We've seen that in the rallies of people who are against casinos. And so we will continue with no casino here in Baguio City. Kasi kung komportable naman yung mga nagkakasino na tiga Baguio o Benguet dun sa La Union, tama na yun, no? Malapit naman 1 hour lang naman yun. Kung gusto nila, dun na lang sila magkasino. But sa Baguio, that's out of the question. We will not be in favor of casino even if they say it is for the progress of the city because it generates employment, it generates jobs, it adds income to the city. But because sabi nga the end does not justify the means. Kaya siguro yan ang pinagpala sa atin ng Diyos na walang casino sa Baguio.
Thank you, sir. Any reaction from the 2 other candidates? Attorney Molintas, would you like to react to that? No reaction? Mayor?
I am against casino and illegal gambling in our city of Baguio. And I hope our different groups, like in the programs of the Character City, for us to really help one another to inculcate values that we should not gamble. We will never stop gambling if there are people who are gambling. Because you cannot guard individual 24 hours a day. We have to change our values and let us not gamble. From the moment that is done, I am sure gambling will not thrive in our city of Baguio. So that should be the first thing that we have to do within our own self. So, thank you.
Thank you,
Incumbent Mayor Dumogan. Judge Claraval.
Yun nga ho ang pinagtatakaan ho namin eh. Kasi ho, sabi, walang gambling daw dito sa Baguio. Pero marami namang gambling establishments daw na that's being hidden dyan sa Legarda Road daw. Tsaka dyan sa may bandang palengke. Sabi nila, we are against gambling, pero hindi naman ho nahihinto yung mga hidden casinos dito sa Baguio.
Attorney Molintas, any reaction? Wala po? All right.
This is a democracy where people should learn the positive and negative things. I think it's very hypocritical that people say they're against gambling, but we see gambling happening every day. Isn't that a fact? You go everywhere and people gamble. Even elections, people gamble. That's why we need to really educate our people. Because when people get sick, they ask for help. They are referred to PAGCOR. When people are sick, they look forward to a share from these institutions like PCSO. You see, it's also a source of way of giving social services to the people. So we might as well discuss these pros and cons, how to avoid people from being addicted to it and cure the ill effects of it, rather than say no, but things are happening anyway, I think.
Thank you, sir. And the final word, Judge Claraval.
Basta ho, yung sinabi ko, the end does not justify the means. Marami hong pwedeng pagkukuhanan ng mga help yung mga tao, hindi lang sa mga PCSO. Parati na lang ho yan, they are making use of the casinos, the PAGCOR as their excuse for